Hey guys, Alish here from Siddharta Sound. I just wanted to give you a quick run through of the rig that we're working with today. This is a Coda Audio 4 per side IRA setup with subs that are double 30-inch in each enclosure. So we have two enclosures as a mono stack in the middle of the stage. You can imagine that this causes a bit of sub leakage towards the stage, but since we don't have any more subs, that's what we are aiming for. On the subs, we have two front fills which are now time aligned and level matched, EQ matched to the mains according to their horizontal coverage, and there's a seamless transition. The challenge for this gig in particular, I'll try to back up a bit so you can see the setup. We have concrete flooring, we have concrete on side and concrete on this side, the roof up top, and you can imagine that this causes quite a bit of echo, reverberation, whatever you want to call it. So when you take a measurement, it really screws up with your coherence. So the only remedy that worked for today was placing the measurement microphone to the floor, and that was the only thing that I could do to get a coherence trace. Okay, so let's take a look at the measurements I did yesterday at the gig, and I'll explain how I then treated the PA system to the best of my abilities, and let's take it from there. So first I took 3 measurements for the left side of the main array on axis. The first one, this is the trace, was done about 4 meters away from the array. You can see that I have a nice impulse response, not too bad of a coherence except in the high frequencies. Then the second trace already shows the reflections, so smart DI would not take any other would not take the first impulse response as its measurement input, mainly because the second one, so this reverberation, or I would say this first reflection, was stronger than the first impulse, so that was a bit unusable. And then the third one was completely screwed up, so because of all of this coherence trace, even though I did insert the delay, it could not find the proper impulse response, the proper time domain. So I quickly realized that the measurements that I was taking at about 1.5 meters of height could not be taken seriously. So I then did a measurement by placing the microphone on the floor about midway of the audience area, and this provided much better results because we got rid of the first reflections, and the coherence trace, as you can see, is much better now. So then I took this trace and repeated it on the right hand side. You can see that there's quite a bit of anomaly on the right hand side because we had different walls in different proximities, and the coherence trace was just off. But it was enough for me to sort of realize that, at least in my opinion, the left and the right side were quite similar. So I sort of notched that up to the left and the right side working pretty much the same. You can also see the phase trace being the same for the left and the right main array. So what I then did was I took a measurement of the left and the right main array, still placing the microphone on the floor, center position. So I placed the microphone in such a way that there was no delay difference between the left and the right when I would go to find the delay, and took a measurement of that. And you can see that I cannot trust any information, let's say above 6.3K, which was something that I had in mind when I was doing all the other measurements. But I was at this point primarily concerned with time aligning the subs to the main array, and thus this was the next measurement I took. This is the measurement of the subs. Let me just place these traces a bit down so you can see them better. So the green one are the subs, this reddish one is the main array. And the subs I mentioned are double 30-inch speakers in one enclosure. So you can see that basically their peak is at 35 Hertz. They're really subby, but they have quite a bit of punch. They are active speakers with DSP processing, which has a 24, I think it was linked with Riley, a 24 dB per octave low pass filter engaged inside the processing of the sub enclosure. So you can see this trace steeply going down. And then you could see that the polarity trace of the sub and the main array was not covered. So what we did was insert a 60 kHz low cut on the main array. So we introduced a filter, and then you can see that the subs and the main array would line up just about as well as you can line them up, especially in this crossover region, which was about 85 Hertz, where the subs were cut. So I was pleased with that. They were time aligned, they were phase aligned at the crossover region. So that was my main goal at this particular time. So when I did the final measurement of both the subs and the left and right main array together, you could see that there's no basically dip at 85, which would be indicative of something awry at the crossover region. And then I was concerned with this particular dip at about 100 Hertz. And I realized this was something that was basically wrong, or should be taken into account within the main array, not in the subs, because the subs, as I said, were cut at 85. So I then took another look at just the main array, and I averaged a couple of measurements all across the room, and saw that this was basically an anomaly at the particular position where I was placing the mic for the measurement, and there was no such an anomaly when I averaged a couple of measurements on the main array, so I was happy with that. And then I was running really severely out of time, and I still had to time align the front fills. So what I basically did was I took one measurement of the left main array position, and I placed the microphone at 6 dB, at minus 6 dB. So basically I took my protractor, knew that the horizontal coverage of the speakers was 90 degrees. So I took my protractor, and then I found where the placement of that 90 degrees was, placed the microphone there, and aim the front fills in such a way that their minus 6 dB point was also pointing at the microphone. And I took a measurement of the main array at that position, and then I just shut down the main array and sort of opened up the front fills. I time aligned and EQ sort of matched them, level matched them, EQ matched them, and time aligned them. But unfortunately, as I can see now, I didn't take a trace of that one. So note to self for further projects. Just remember to keep saving traces of everything I do so I can show you guys later. This was my process. I hope to get some feedback from you guys. Tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me where I can improve, and hopefully we'll all learn something out of this. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.